Over a dozen vehicles currently lie in or near the water here at Lock and Dam number 5. Well, it's certainly wet out here, I can tell you that much for sure, but it's an important day to be out here regardless because it's the 100-year anniversary to the day of Floyd Collins, a famous cave explorer, going into Sand Cave and spending his last days of life trapped beneath a rock. He's from Gotham City, the Cape Crusader, the world's greatest detective. Today I'm here at Circus Square Park where, despite the rain, people have come out to enjoy the 34th annual Bowling Green International Festival. What I can describe it as is an introvert's worst nightmare. They are passing the cranberry sauce, they're having mashed potatoes, and oh, the turkey looks great here at Teresa's today where they are doing a free community event. How do you pull off that kind of improv in the moment without just totally breaking?
Many years of practice. You know, I've been doing it since '99.
How is that affecting your body at this point, man? I mean, I know you're hitting 50 at this point?
Yeah, I recently turned 50 and...
Reporting in Smiths Grove, Adam Ferguson, WBKO News. It might be 2024 out there in the real world, but here at Fillmore Park in Bowling Green, it's 1944 as we travel back in time to take part in a reenactment of a World War II event known as Operation Anvil.
We're not honoring war, we're honoring our veterans. And in order to do that, we portray what they did. Luckily, we can't simulate true war with the smell, the horror. But what we can do is show a small bit of realism with the uniforms and the weaponry to our spectators so they can understand what our veterans went through.
This is the 6th year that Operation Anvil has taken place at the park, with this year seeing nearly 200 reenactors portraying the roles of soldiers on both sides of the war. The battle depicted real events that occurred in August of 1944 when the Allied forces landed in the southern province of France. One reenactor on the Nazi side said that he decided to portray an Italian man who was conscripted by Germany to fight against his will.
It's not like the hardcore people that'll come wearing the whole political black uniforms and the whole political stuff trying to send a message. We don't want that. We don't want anything to do with those groups, any of those situations, because of the terrible stuff that was associated with them. Even at us reenactors, if we see someone in those uniforms, it's everyone. Doesn't matter what team you're on, doesn't matter what sign you're on, it's, hey, we don't need this here.
The event was organized by a local nonprofit called Honor Our Heroes and saw military veterans being given medals for their service. Operation Anvil also featured the 2nd annual rubber duck race, which was put together by a group of reenactors known as the 84th Infantry Division to raise money to help provide for our boys at home that fought in the wars.
We make up care packages. Just take them some things that make their life a little better. Some puzzle books, some hard candy. They all get a hat with their branch on it that says Army veteran or Navy veteran. We just give them things, coffee creamer, things that would make their life better. And then we go in and visit them. A lot of them don't have family anymore, so just having someone that wants to sit down with them for an hour and talk to them means so much to them.
Reporting in Bowling Green, Adam Ferguson, WBKO News. Mammoth Cave National Park is celebrating 100 years of history through a limited-time tour taking place in February. The tour regales the story of Floyd Collins, a cave explorer made famous by his entrapment and eventual death within Sand Cave 100 years ago.
Like his back is against a rock wall. There's rock walls on his chest. You know, like he said, hard to even wiggle your shoulders. He's got his lamp tips over while he's struggling, so his light goes out. So now he's in pitch black, just clawing and stuff. Imagine being like that for 24 hours before the person realizes you're even need help.
Tickets were distributed via a lottery system for the exclusive event. Out of the 3,671 tickets that were requested, only 320 people were chosen to take part in the tour and enter Crystal Cave, a section of Mammoth Cave discovered by Collins that hasn't been publicly toured since the 1960s.
By that time, hundreds of people are gathered around here. They decide we need to dig a rescue shaft down to him. They probably missed it by about 5 feet. Instead of coming out under him where the rock was pinning his leg, they come out just above where his head was. Now they did come out into this, but this was day 17, and They see him, and he's gone. He had passed away.
Other notable features on the tour include stops at the entrance to Sand Cave, where media from across the country gathered to watch and report on the famous incident, his home, and his grave, where he was ultimately laid to rest after his family was finally able to retrieve his body.
They began to raise money. They began to travel around and talk to people about what had happened. And after a couple of months, they raised enough money to reopen the rescue shaft, get their brother out, get Floyd out, and have a proper funeral for him over on their farm.
Reporting from Mammoth Cave, Adam Ferguson, WBKO News. One of Kentucky's most terrifying features for those who suffer from claustrophobia are the many caves that run deep below the surface of the bluegrass. The unrelenting darkness, squeezing through tight spaces and not knowing what the next turn will bring, can all give someone a sense that they shouldn't be inside the reverberating caverns. For the first time at Lost River Cave, the park is using the Halloween season as a chance to reveal the darker, lost tales of the underground.
It is a boat tour, but it highlights some of the, and details some of the darker, scarier stories that we have here at the park. Anytime you have a piece of property that is this old and has been used for this long of time, scary stories just kind of naturally, organically develop.
The cave that sits just below the surface of Bowling Green dates back nearly 250,000 years, according to geologists who have studied the dark caverns. The limestone below the surface wore away bit by bit as erosion created the passages that we now know as Lost River Cave.
The first use of cave by humans dates back to the Paleo-Native Americans. Turn of the century, it was used for a milling operation. Then, of course, in the 1930s, it moved into the nightclub era that you see recreated when you get to the mouth of the cave today. After the nightclub closed down, it wasn't used for anything. It was the site of one of the largest illegal dump sites in the state of Kentucky.
Ever since its discovery, people have used the cave for a variety of purposes, some of which were nefarious in nature.
We've got stories of Civil War soldiers that died here at the park, may or may not still be here. Different stories of milling operations that have mysteriously burned down on the property. And for a while, this cave was actually known as Dead Man's Cave or Purgatory Cave.
Unlike other tours, Lost Tales of the Underground is limited to those who are 16 or older due to the nature of the stories told. The specialty tour begins at 6:30 each night and will continue through October 31st. Reporting in Bowling Green, Adam Ferguson,